Hey guys, Mike here from 32 Pens. I just wanted to show something that I was unable to find myself in any instruction online. I finally got some tips from someone in person, and I don't think anyone's actually made videos on this subject, although I may have missed them. So I'll make one. This is a pen that I made a while back. It's a Sedona using a blank called Silver Fury, which I think is just gorgeous. But I've kept it for myself because it has a few flaws. You probably can't tell with this video, but if you look really closely, there's actually some fine scratches on the surface that were left from the sanding process that I didn't remove. And I didn't notice until I put the pen hardware on, and if you hold it closely under the light, you can see them. And as a customer, I probably wouldn't like that, so I held on to it for myself. I also messed up a piece of the center band. There's a ring in the Sedona kit that goes on the top of the center band, and it's very easy to catch that ring as you're pushing it into the cap, and I caught it and crushed it and broke it, and now the center band, this accent piece, will spin because there isn't enough tension. So I held on to it, and I was just using it for myself because it still looks fairly nice. But I've always wondered how to get the hardware off of these pens once you put it on without damaging the hardware and damaging the pen, so that you can back up and you can redo some of the work. And I didn't know it until recently. I went on a seminar at Lee Valley on basic pen turning, which I knew most of already, but talking to the guy there, he turned me on to this, which is a set of transfer punches from Lee Valley. And there's just about every size there that you could ever need to exactly fit the inside of the pen and knock these pieces out and take the pen hardware apart. And I'm going to show that now with this guy. So initially, I mean, obviously we unscrew that, we can take the body off, keep the nib, keep the cartridge converter, no problem. You might want a little clean place to put everything. I mean, in my shop there's not a lot of room. So this is what I have, the stuff that I want to take off. The only thing that comes off readily would be the bottom finial here, just unscrews on the Sedona kit. So that comes off easily enough. But the rest of it is friction fit, and if you just grab it and pull it, you're going to destroy it. Guarantee it. So how do you get this stuff off? Well, let's demonstrate on the cap. Now initially, the finial on the top of the cap there is closed, so in theory, if we just put a transfer punch in here, we should be able to knock the cap right off. So if I look over my sizes, usually you want to pick something that fits fairly well on the inside. That's a really close fit. I'm going to go one size down, and there we go. So that fits in, and that's hitting the cap. Now you might damage some of the hardware on the inside because these transfer punches do have a bit of point on them. If you're really concerned, you could jam some paper in there to cushion things, but I haven't had a problem so far. And I guess we'll see. So I'm just going to hold this, and I'm going to grab a hammer, and I'm going to hold really tight and just tap until you feel it move, and that moved. As you can see, the top's coming out right there. So that's now off. Okay, and the trick the other way, if the parts are on the inside, if the fit is on the inside, see, this goes right through, so this punch will not be good at getting the center band off. But there's a sleeve inside on this kit that sits inside of the barrel, and you want to catch on that. That one is still a little too small. If I go up another size, and you just keep trying until it catches, and that's catching right there. So I should be able to smack the center band off just like that. Oop. Don't hit your hand. That's a good rule in general for any kind of hammering. There we go. I can feel it moving in my hand, and if I look, it's coming out. Look at that. And you can just push it out the rest of the way. It's fairly loose now. Pull it out. There we go. There's the center band and the sleeve and there's a missing ring there because I broke it. You can really do what you want after that. You can put on new hardware. You can see, this piece is like it was just coming off the lathe. So I can put that back on the lathe and I can repeat my sanding process and I can make it perfect. And you do the exact same thing to the lower part. Now that's a little trickier because the barrel here is symmetrical. So what I find that you have to do, you're not going to just easily catch on a piece. Oh, that was too big. Find one that just barely fits in the end. A little smaller. Keep cycling through them until it fits. Oh, that one just barely fits. And maybe I want just a hair smaller than that. So you fit that through. Now obviously it's going to go through the end as well, as you can see here. But if as you're pushing it through, if you put a little side pressure on there's just a little bit of play here. Okay, put a little bit of side pressure on the transfer punch. Hold it like that and hit, and you can catch this hardware at the end. And you will be able to knock it out. It's a little trickier, it takes a little more work. Some of the kits, like the flat top, center band on the flat top kit, this doesn't work at all because the center band is on the outside of the brass tube, and in that case I actually wrap a cloth around it and use pliers and take it off that way. Got to be very careful because of course you could damage the center band that way. So it's a little trickier this way because I'm sort of holding it in place. I'm keeping that pressure on the transfer punch with my thumb as I hit it, but you can still catch it, and I just drove right through and dropped a piece. There we go. So that came off, and I dropped a piece on the floor, and then you can actually, from here, now you can just go up. You don't use this transfer punch, you go to a larger transfer punch that fits in this hole, but does not fit in the other hole to knock the hardware at the other side. And that's it. You can put it back on the lathe, you can do whatever you want. You can refinish, resand, you can adjust, whatever needs doing. Alright, hope that helps, guys. Cheers.